What's up, drivers? A common saying is that after you pass your test is when the real learning takes place. When I started dashcamming about 2 years into my Mariva days, I was full of confidence and absolutely full of arrogance. I was also much more of a hothead and a much worse driver than I am now. But almost 7 years on, more often than I'd like to admit, I'm in the valley of despair. This year I've made quite a few howlers, the worst of which I've actually not been brave enough to use in a video yet. Each clip in this video is arranged from mild to absolutely horrific. And if another driver cocked up as well, I weighed up how much I was to blame when making the decision for where to put the clips. Throughout this video, I'll be adding some extra analysis to the clips, and I don't want you to view this as me making excuses for myself, but rather I'd want you to view it as me further explaining some contributing factors to why mistakes like these happen. I hope you learned something, but more importantly, I hope you enjoy seeing me make a total complete out of myself. Remember, none of us are perfect.
Oh shit. Oh. You nearly killed a woman!
I misjudged the depth of a puddle and gave my bumper a little scrape. Oopsie. This got repaired alongside another certain little incident that we'll discuss later.
Bruh.
I held my hands up originally in this clip saying that I wasn't paying much attention. At least not straight ahead anyway. My focus was almost entirely on the conversation with Harry and the red car to my right. When I saw they weren't going, I thought I had enough time after the BMW. And I did. If the Nissan hadn't done this. They practically drive the wrong way around the roundabout and then have the gall to hold their horn at me over it.
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
If you know someone who drives like this, get them some driving lessons before they have a crash they're at fault for. I'm glad I cut you up. I'd do it again too, you prick. The trip to Wales saw me damage my car twice. This was the first time.
Oh, I just hit the curb!
Thank you for that.
As much as I can blame this woman cutting the corner on me as the reason I hit the curb, that doesn't mean there wasn't things I could have done better here. I could have slurred and straightened my turn, I could have stopped upon realising she was over the line, because to be fair to her, you can tell that the sun is absolutely blinding her. The only thing I can think to improve these kinds of situations would be to travel a little slower in a lower gear on short, minimal visibility slip roads like these. I know my car has the power to make it back up to speed in a short time, so that's what I should have done. If another driver was too dumb to give way to the wagon behind me, that's their problem, not mine. Now I'm sure we all agree here that it's on the driver who is merging to perform that merge safely. Enter this horribly blind and curved slip road near Manchester. I'm keeping a distance of between 3 and 3.5 seconds from the car in front of me. I'm not saying that my planning or actions were great here. If you end up where I did, you've got something a bit wrong somewhere. I just did what I could. However, I would argue that the Volkswagen made a real mess of things here. I have a heavy vehicle behind me. Stopping is not an option. They have not one, but 2 empty lanes to their right, but instead it appears that at first they speed up as an attempt to pass before I merge. They then bottle it and brake instead, but by this point I'm already using this part of the road with a big poo hanging halfway out my arse.
Tiny up. Yeah.
They then proceed to drive along the cat's eyes and almost veer into the occupied lane next to them. You know when a Peugeot gets it right and you don't, you've cocked up.
Shitting Peugeot!
I was gonna say, I didn't think you could, I can't even turn around here.
This mistake doesn't require any additional thoughts, I don't think, although here's a fun fact for you. This was indeed rather embarrassing.
Introducing Lemmy and his sensational #1 debut smash, Wrong Way Down a One-Way Street.
Oh, bro. Wrong way. Down a one-way street. Oh, bro, what have I done? What am I doing?
A couple of things here. First is I feel like I should have hesitated more at the lights. I was originally waiting for the Audi to put their foot down on amber to get ahead, but when the light turned green and they were still stationary, I decided to begin moving. This made it a bit of a close pass on the cyclist, but thankfully nothing came of it. Second is you can see the car that emerges from Nightmare Junction twice on the approach, and you can see the junction empty the next time it's visible. While this is going from the dashcam's perspective and not my perspective, and I'm definitely being a bit harsh on myself with this one, I could have spotted it sooner. And done a little better. I felt like I reacted slow as mud and didn't brake nearly quick or hard enough, but I still got a harsh braking for it anyway.
No!
Possibly it detected the jolt as I fully stopped, but yeah, I couldn't tell how fast she'd left the junction until she was slamming on herself. I assumed until this point here that she would be crawling out. Not like I can talk. Oh, kill me. The mistakes are going to get significantly worse from here on out, and here's another from the DCB x DCH collab. I'd only had Benji and Alexi in my car for all of 5 minutes when this happened. I still to this day have no clue why I pulled out. Generally, I'm always a bit more anxious than usual when someone new gets in my car for the first time, so having 2 Bristolian celebrities in my whip was probably a contributing factor. I said these clips get worse and worse.
Yeah, Clifton, I would say it's
Oh, fuck.
Oh, that was close.
How do you save all these clips, Charles? Can we save that one, please? Yeah, we can. Send me that one, please, Charles? Yeah, we can. Yeah, that shouldn't have gone. So you look to the right, Charles, make sure nothing there. Is it? Give way to straight across. I could see this one. This one. This next one here. I could see there was a car there. I just thought he was coming off sooner. Oh, Clifton. So they got castles up there.
Yeah, Clifton. I would say it's
Oh, fuck.
Oh, that was close.
I managed to rectify it with speed, though. There's a lot of people that if they did that, they'd go, oh shit, and slam off. Yeah, and then, get hit. At least I got out the way once I realised what I'd done.
I'll reiterate what I said originally in this clip. I should have stopped instead of causing a dangerous situation on the approach to a junction. Simple. This incident occurred at our halfway point in Wrexham, and as you can see, the junction behind me doesn't have any markings, but that doesn't prevent this Renault driver from slowing down, doing proper observations before proceeding. The driver we're going to be paying attention to in this clip is the OTL Electrical Services Limited van, who despite seeing me drive around him to follow the road out of the car park, suddenly decides to begin his journey whilst eating with no seatbelt on. I fully hold my hands up and admit I wish I'd have stopped here, because choosing to use speed to solve a situation in an area like this isn't a good idea, and it resulted in him accelerating at me further, making the situation much more volatile as we head towards another junction. But had he either finished his snack or put his seatbelt on first, all of this would have been avoided. I seriously think he tried to start something on purpose. Bad day at work, maybe?
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
Has this van spotted me? I don't know what you're doing, mate. What are you doing? What are you doing? Fucking stupid. I don't know what you're doing, mate. What are you doing? What are you doing? Right. Did you see what Captain Genius has done today? So, yeah, that's a little bit scratched under there. Yeah, good job, Charles. Really good job, mate. I'm so off at myself.
I'm not too hurt about this clip these days, as my dad helped me repair the damage as best we could. The embarrassment, however, definitely still lingers. Now, I don't know what it was exactly. Overconfidence, the fact I'd just been driving up the steepest, most deadly roads of my life. There was nowhere that I could really park the old landship where it wouldn't be in the way. So I thought, I'll make my own space. I can improvise, it's fine.
Go on. There's not really even anywhere to park. I might park next to this. Actually, I can't park here. I'm going to be blocking it, yeah. Yeah, I can't. Fuck. Part of me thinks, why not just on here?
So without a second thought, I...
Fuck.
Is that what you're doing?
I guess it's what I'm going with, yeah.
They're leaving.
Yep, literally seconds after I gouged my poor car's bottom lip, similar to how I scalded my own lip that very same morning with boiling pasta water, someone vacates a space.
This is a perfect example of a clip where at the time you feel like you've done nothing to deserve what happened to you, and then you watch it back and see the truth. I was way too fast approaching the lights, on top of one other key mistake. I know exactly what you'll all be thinking watching this clip. Stop hovering in a BMW's blind spot. And this is exactly why.
No!
It simply means your driving becomes reactionary as opposed to anticipatory. I'm amazed they even use their indicator though, to be honest. Just a shame they think it's a safe to change lanes now button. Also, my apologies to this person who I scared the absolute living crap out of on the pavement. The beep wasn't for you.
No!
This is the most recent clip on this list, and was in the last 6 Minute Saturdays, and while I did observations both ways, these checks weren't frequent or numerous enough. I may not have damaged him, his bike, or even my car, but I did hit him, and for me, that's a pretty massive mistake to make, regardless of where he'd put himself.
Yep. Within the 6 seconds since I last looked to my left, this absolute raving genius had cycled the wrong way up a blind hill next to a busy garage, giving me only a 3 to 4 second window to spot him. And even then, he was probably behind my A-pillar for part of that. Oh, fucking hell! Oh, fuck's sake! We didn't make much contact, there was no damage to my car, but he immediately fled the scene. I actually got in touch with his school because I recognised the logo on his jacket. And it took me 2 emails to even get a half-hearted reply, which doesn't convince me in the slightest that they spoke to him or had an assembly about how to not get killed riding a bike. Has he just gone off?
Bonus little shout out to this lovely cyclist who stopped to make sure that I was alright. Now the clip you're about to see is definitely one of my bigger whoopsies of this year. You can see this car turning out of this junction down the road, so I assumed traffic had stopped for them.
When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
I look for the gap behind the van to my left, and...
Oh, fuck, sorry! Oh, fuck, sorry!
Yeah, not great that, was it? Usually, I'd look in the windows opposite me, creep and lean more, but this time I just put far too much blind faith in seeing this. And as a result, I had to accelerate and steer hard to not cause a crash.
Oh, fuck, sorry!
But as far as drive score were concerned, that was a flawless bit of driving. Keep it up, pal. It was a tough decision between second and third for which mistake was worse, but upon closer analysis and the fact I had to swerve in this one had to take silver.
And it goes to me. Now there's a number of contributing factors that led to this atrocious piece of driving that you're about to see, so I'm going to break it down a little step by step so that hopefully some of you can learn from my stupidity. Firstly, it's quite rare that I drive long distances. And at this point I'd been on the road for 3 or 4 hours with no breaks, so mental fatigue was definitely setting in. You'll notice that the majority of this clip is muted, and that's because there's a personal conversation going on in the car between me and my partner that had the majority of my attention. And because of that, I did one of the biggest no-nos of driving. I went into autopilot, locked onto the car in front, and mirrored its movements.
You can't do... What the f*** are you doing? That was my green light, wasn't it?
If you notice, the Audi driver hasn't reached their white line yet, when I've already committed to the turn, basically. No fault of the Audi driver whatsoever here. I'm simply stating a fact, and it's just another thing that I didn't take into account. I didn't do observations effectively or for long enough, and as a result...
You can't do... What the fuck are you doing?
Now some of you may even be thinking, don't sweat it DCH, the Audi probably drove through a red light.
Doubt.
I checked and they didn't. Thank you. I would like to thank my lack of attention.
Now the moment you've all been waiting for. The clip I've been too embarrassed to ever show anyone. What's everyone's favourite thing to come across on a country road? Other than a tractor? That's right, an elderly driver doing 30 miles an hour. During the trip this clip was from, I got stuck behind not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 of these sluggish road users, and I was unable to safely pass the first 3 of them.
Yeah, it's currently the worst it's ever been for learning to drive.
Is that the kid on the oncoming lane?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. The police car right there.
They're overtaking a car that's doing 20 under the limit though.
Oh,
like, that's why we're going so slow right now.
Previous events of the day shouldn't sit with you and affect your decisions later on, but the truth of the matter is, I'm human. Everyone's human. And this happens.
Oh, if the lights come on, Charles, this will be a good clip for you.
Yeah, it would.
Please turn them on. I want the police car to overtake them.
Same. Do you reckon they're gonna?
I reckon.
Yes!
Clip it.
As the police car overtakes them, of course, as you can hear, all of our attention is on us loving the fact that they've joined the other road users in passing them. So what do you get when you mix excitement, a day of frustration, and complacency from witnessing a police car perform an overtake? Yep, you get an absolute raving idiot driving a Mazda making an absolute meal of it.
I'll join him first. Ooh, actually, oh fuck, I fucked up.
Oh!
Fuck's sake.
Clip it.
That was really bad. I reckon the police are going to pull me for that, you know.
Please clip it.
That was really bad.
Video protected.
Charles is back.
Here is where I spotted the other car for the first time, and here is where I realised I was going too fast to safely make it back behind.
It was a little swear back there. Oh. You're alright, Charles.
Every single driver I've seen on the way to get here has been like that. Driving like 30 under the limit.
What the fuck was he driving so slow though?
Because they're fucking terrified. They shouldn't have a licence.
The police officer couldn't be asked for the paperwork, clearly.
Can't believe I fucked the overtake that badly though.
Hate me all you want for this clip, but remember, I didn't have to show it. I could have buried this clip to never see the light of day.
So, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, other than how god-awful I can be at driving sometimes. And if this is my last ever video, just assume that the DVLA have my licence, MI5 have my body, and remember, I'm always going to be the permanent owner of this. Peace! I feel like the police were very forgiving of me. Or totally oblivious to me. You decide. Thank you, whoever's hazards that was.